Hi readers, welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. Today's video is going to be a little different than usual. I'm going to take you on a tour of my NetGalley shelf, and I'm going to decide and commit to trying to get this NetGalley rating up higher than it is and to start reading these books that I have been given the opportunity to take a look at. So let's get started. So if you're not familiar, netgalley.com is a place where you can sign up to be a reviewer and request advanced copies of books by a variety of authors, from nonfiction to fiction, from short to chunky, and definitely you have the ability to read them as soon as you're approved. Some of them are approved just by releasing them for a short period of time, and who the first 500 people that see that email get to choose that title and read it. Some are chosen based on your rating and how many books you've already read and rated and reviewed for NetGalley. Some are just based on demand and kind of who they're looking for. I've really benefited from NetGalley a few times in the sense that I've been given some really powerful books to read before they were published. One of them was The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. That was like my first, oh my God, win, win, win. But as time has progressed, I have not read many of the titles that I have been given. Most of them are archived, and I feel really bad about that. And my rating is 33%. And those of you who are familiar with NetGalley know that's not high. It's a wonder I've been given anything to look at all. But what I wanted to do today is just kind of share with you what I've got. And this might be a little shaky because I have this laptop sitting on my lap so that I can share my screen with you and we can kind of go through these in real time. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through the most recent ones that I've acquired, and then I'm going to make a plan and commit to what I'm going to prioritize in the next 2 to 3 months. So let's take a look. All right, so I am about to share my screen with you. I've never done this before. Okay, so at the top of the list, which you can see comes out in January of 2024, is Robots and the People Who Love Them by Eve Harold. I'm really excited about this release from St. Martin's Press because it speaks about robotics and artificial intelligence and what could happen as a result. This is a nonfiction read. And what I think would be interesting to me is, what is our future potentially going to look like? And do we want it to look that way? The subtitle is Holding On to Humanity in an Age of Social Robots. So it also discusses social media and some of the trends that we've discovered as a result of being somewhat addicted to social media and making our own images public on those platforms. So that sounds like a possible nonfiction November read, right? I know. All right, this one comes out in March of 2024. This is Mortal Secrets, Freud, Vienna, and the Discovery of the Modern Mind by Frank Tallis. This is also nonfiction. It is published by St. Martin's Press, and it is a discovery of the Golden Age in Vienna, which I have been to Vienna. I lived near Vienna for a while, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous city, and the influence on Freud on the modern world. And this is written by a clinical psychologist who wrote the books that led to the series called Vienna Blood. So that seems like something that is right up my street. A thrilling book about a heady time in one of the world's most beautiful cities and its long shadow that extends through the 20th century up until present day. It looks like it also explores architecture in Vienna, as well as some of the other things that were happening at that time, modern buildings, and sort of that exploration of Vienna as a more modern city. Sounds great. Day by Michael Cunningham is a highly anticipated read for me, as you might know if you are watching or watched my anticipated reads. So this one is about a family who is experiencing a bit of domestic bliss in their home in April of 2019. Everything is fine except for Isabel's brother moves in with them because he's having some difficulties and broke up with his boyfriend. And so he then moves in and some things change within their relationship. The children are noticing that their parents are exploring some conversations and maybe some arguing that didn't happen before. Turns out maybe they both have more feelings for Robbie, the brother of Isabel, than they should. And then they go into lockdown and they're all kind of stuck together. Michael Cunningham he's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and he does a great literary fiction work thinking about relationships and people and histories. And he's really good at, when he wrote The Hours, I didn't read it yet, but I know that he's very good at exploring the gay characters, queer characters, and kind of their evolution and the things that are important for us to know about the challenges in relationships. And I just think it sounds great. So I would like to prioritize that one. The Raging Storm, which I recently got a physical copy of as well, is the third in the Matthew Venn series by Anne Cleves. I don't want to know a whole lot about it, although some people tell me that these are somewhat standalones. I would like to have sort of a history. This was already published by St. Martin's on the 5th of September. St. Martin's seems to be really loyal to me, so I appreciate that. Another one I'm really wanting to read soon. This comes out in April of 2024, so I have some time, but Sally Hepworth's Darling Girls. Sally Hepworth is a new author to me, but I really do appreciate it. I did read The Soulmate. This is a twisty domestic thriller about Alicia, Jessica, and Nora, who seem to be normal, I guess, ordinary women, but Jessica has OCD, Nora has anger, Alicia has low self-esteem. They've been friends for a really, really long time, and they were foster children for Miss Fairchild, which is how they met. And some things happened, and they thought they were free of Miss Fairchild, but the past comes forward. And the last question is, how much can we hide the demons inside of us? And can the past ever truly be buried? I don't know. Also by St. Martin's Press, which of course is a big publisher. But again, they seem to like me. I don't know why. It's certainly not because I am reviewing the books they send. This one was just offered one day as sort of a fun, do you want to read this? It's come out before, but I think they republished it. It's about a climber in the Himalayas who finds a shipment of nuclear weapons that are headed into Tibet, and he then tries to do something about this. And it says it's gripping and taut and tense and a thriller that everyone should buy right away. And yeah, it looks like people really love it. But again, this was published in September of 2014. So I'm not sure why it was sent to me, but maybe they're just trying to, maybe it was re-released in a new version. Maybe they're just trying to, publish it or to get some buzz around it here in the US. I don't know. This one is already archived. It was published in July of this year, Anatomy of a Blackbird by Claire McMillan. Claire McMillan is an author. I don't think I've read anything by her. They do ask you whether you requested it because you like the author, the cover, the title, those kinds of things. And in my case, this one was about the cover. So this one is about perseverance, ambition, and friendship. 20th century painters and tarot devotees, Remedios Varo and Leonora Carrington. I love books about tarot, and it just sounds like those are kind of captivating experiences. They are actually fleeing Paris as a result of the war, and they are fleeing with Max Ernst, Peggy Guggenheim, and some others. So yeah, that's interesting to me. A historic fiction, so that could go for Historathon as well. The House of Lincoln could also be read during Historathon. Again, this is now archived for me, but I have downloaded it. Nancy Horan wrote Loving Frank. I've never heard of Nancy Horan before this was offered to me, but I am a big fan, if you've noticed, of Abraham Lincoln. This is a historical fiction which tells the story of his ascendance as a poor young boy to becoming president, and it's told through the eyes of an asylum seeker who comes into Springfield from Portugal. And so that character's name is Anna, and she finds a job in the Lincoln household. So that looks to me to be very fascinating, and it's gotten some buzz by some people that I know of. And again, this came out in June, so it's been out for a while. And this was published by Source Books at Landmark. I'm going to go through one more because this one is a book that I really am still interested in getting to sooner than later. This one was published in February of 2023, but it is a biography of a titan of American crime fiction named James Elroy. I do not know a lot about James Elroy, except that he was known as the demon dog of crime fiction. I had heard that before, actually. And that he wrote crime noir from 1948 till now, I think. But his mom was killed when he was a young child, and her crime was unsolved, which we're assuming kind of sparked his interest into writing crime fiction. And he has a pretty very respectable log of books that he wrote, and it would be interesting to me to understand what his life was like after having been having experienced the murder of your mom, but then also growing up in LA and trying to kind of stay connected to this population of people who were loving his books, and he was getting some attention, and I think he was getting some invitations to events and parties and things that maybe his life was a little bit chaotic. So yeah, I think that would be a potential nonfiction November read as well. Obviously, though, I would really like to get to a couple of these books before the end of the year. And I have some, robust plans, and I have a lot of books that just came in. So I'm feeling really like overwhelmed and knowing that I need to make a change. I need to read some of these NetGalley titles. I need to, and not just to get that score up, but really just to honor the commitment that essentially I made when I requested that book and said I would read it, right? So I feel a little bit like a fraud not doing that. So I'd like to get some of those off my list. I would like to be more intentional about what I download and request from NetGalley, and I would like to buy less books. Are those my New Year's resolutions? I don't know. Are those my goals for 2024? Very likely they are. I am starting to create my bookish goals for next year. And yeah, those are some areas that I need some support with for sure. Thanks for joining me today for this tour of my NetGalley shelves. I probably will get some of the older books at some point read as well, but for now, I think I would like to get to the ones that have come in within, the last year and see what I can do about knocking those out. Let me know if you're a NetGalley requester and reviewer, let me know what your, kind of interests are, what you've been reading, what you enjoyed, if you've read any of these. And as always, happy reading. Bye.